So my name is Alyx and this is Annie. For our organizational communications final project, we decided to organize a little interview of an employee of the popular company Monsanto. Some of you may be familiar with Monsanto, some of you may not. They had some controversy in the past over their tactics. Annie will talk a little bit about what they were known for and what they're known for now. Basically a crash course in Monsanto, though. They are an agricultural company. Their headquarters is based in Missouri, if I'm remembering correctly. They particularly focus in GMOs, so that's genetically modified food. So everything that they do is with farming, plant cells, et cetera, anything with the scientific level that you can think of. Is there anything else you wanted to touch on before I moved in? No? Okay. So we decided to interview Kim Sutter, who was the Director of Industry Affairs for Monsanto. The interview was conducted over the phone, obviously, since she was in Missouri and we are here in Pennsylvania. We asked her basic questions such as, a lot of them were open-ended. We wanted to know a lot about the organization's diversity, its culture, its philanthropic arm, and basically what it did for its customers as a whole. There were also some demographic questions, such as how long Kim has been employed by Monsanto, her daily tasks, and the pros and cons of working for Monsanto. So some of our questions, as you can see on the side, as Director of Industry Affairs, what would you say is your main task every day, et cetera, et cetera. These are warm, opening questions. We didn't want her to feel a little put on the spot or anything. Let me go ahead. So we also did some background. I'm not going to harp on everything that was found here, but I found a scholarly article, and it basically touched on the important history of agriculture in America. It basically touched on how the USDA was reshaped in the early 1900s and separated into different boroughs, basically focused on a hierarchy. And then I also found another print article which was all about GMOs, so genetically modified foods. Do people trust them? Why or why not? Who's more likely to buy them? It basically said that women were more likely to stay away from GMOs because of the stigma that they are bad for your overall health.
All right, so of course I did the same sort of literature review. My scholarly article was The Future of Farming After Bowman vs. Monsanto by Josh Fago, and it was published in the Journal of Corporation Law on March 1st, 2015. And what this discussed, there was a huge lawsuit between a farmer and Monsanto because the farmer wanted to use old seed, and these seeds are all patented by Monsanto, and the patent basically expired and they got into this huge lawsuit. The biggest question was, can we use old patented modified seed? And what came out of this lawsuit was that basically Monsanto settled with the farmer and they said, you're right, it's actually a really great idea for you to continue to be able to use our old genetically modified seed. It's sustainable and it is really great public relations for a company that has been known for a little bit of controversy. My print article was The Right to Know If You're Eating Genetically Modified Food by Ben Cohen and Jerry Greenfield. It also follows that path of Alyx's print source, which is about GMOs. It's a pretty hot topic in our society right now, and the safety and health benefits, or lack thereof, has been in the news a lot recently. It explained why that there should be mandated GMO labeling by the government. And what it said is that you have the right to know what you're eating, and it also said that that's just good business, is letting your consumers know everything about your product. A little historical overview. Monsanto was founded by John F. Queeney in 1901, and its headquarters are in St. Louis, Missouri. That's actually where I'm from, and the park behind my house is John F. Queeney Park. They play a very large role in the city of St. Louis, as well as all around the world. They have 404 facilities in 66 countries, and 146 of those facilities are located in 33 states in the United States alone. There are about 21,183 global employees, and there are 10,277 employees in America. Their first product was saccharin, which is an artificial sweetener, and many of you probably consume it even today. In 1945, Monsanto began to produce and market agricultural chemicals, and what they did was they made Roundup, or weed killer, which was commercialized in 1976. Many of us use it. I know it's in my parents' garage. I'm sure it's in yours as well. Monsanto's was the first to ever create a GMO plant cell, which is genetically modified. They made it, they modified it, they made it so that it would live. That was done actually in 1982, and there's been huge strides since then. Monsanto was involved in the Manhattan Project, which I'm sure many of you know was basically the atomic bombs in World War II. And this is kind of where the controversy came. They manufactured Agent Orange during the Vietnam War, which was a very questionable sort of weapon of choice, but they also created DDTs, which was insecticides, and other chemical weapons in World War II, which led to many of their controversies and sort of debatable background today.
So we had the organizational structure that we picked up on just in Monsanto. So there are 13 executives that make up the primary leadership. So obviously starting with CEO at the top, and then there's branches all the way down. It's separated into a typical hierarchy. So whenever you think of a typical corporation, CEO, CFO, COO, and down there, even to the little branches of management. So there are certain people who are in charge of the agricultural seed or the vegetables and the weed control, et cetera, et cetera. And then at the very bottom, of course, you have your typical, there's the finance department, there's the technology department, communications, et cetera, et cetera.
So we did a little bit of analysis of their board and their employees, and Hugh Grant is at the top. He is chairman and CEO. His primary task is just general and active management and supervision of company. He first started out as managing director of all Monsanto business in their units in Southeast Asia, Australia, and New Zealand. Obviously that's a huge job, and chairman and CEO is even bigger, if you can imagine. A little time in Pittsburgh. He's also on the board of director for PPG Industries. And then there's Senior VP and Chief of Staff Community Relations, Janet M. Holloway. And she has three responsibilities: coordinating board of directors, managing the office and chairman of CEO, oversees community relations activities, and corporate services organizations. Just to continue, Brett D. Begman is president and COO. Very similar responsibility. He just deals with more of the commercial side in Monsanto's global business and supply chain. Carrie Creek is the Executive VP of Global Strategy, and he leads all global strategy and marketing, as well as developing business overseas. So their style of management is pretty similar to kind of what we said about most organizations. You know, out of nature, it's a hierarchy, of course. There has to be someone that is making decisions. However, it is rather flat, and people are given a lot of power to make decisions, and they follow a systems approach to management styles, and which Alyx will explain a little bit.
Yeah, so the systems approach to management styles stresses the interactive nature and interdependence of external and internal factors in an organization. So as Andy said, at the heart of Monsanto's structure was a hierarchy. Kim actually told us there is a definite hierarchy, although we're fairly flat as an organization. We have bosses, and we all have goals that really define the work that we do and how we're measured by our bosses. So each department has a boss, and their boss has a boss above them, and so on and so forth. But really, what makes Monsanto really cool, if I can say, as an organization, is because they're scientifically based. Even though you have a department and there's a boss above you, there's no strict guidelines saying that you can't address the boss of your friend's company or sector and ask for help, because it's scientific data. So you have to relay information back and forth between every single department in order for the corporation to continue to grow and do what they do successfully. There was interdependence and permeability within these, and interdependence means that there's a mutual dependence between two objects, while permeability means that something can pass through something else. So as we said, each different sector within Monsanto has to address their sister or brother sector in order to get anything done. You can go ahead and move on.
All right, so a little bit about their diversity. Like most organizations today, they are an equal opportunity employer. However, it is a science community that deals a lot with chemicals, so of course you have to have that specific background. However, they strive to become a multicultural organization. They are global. They want to meet global demands and make sure that they're cross-cultural. So there's a huge stereotype that is kind of involved with agriculture, and what Kim basically says is that when you think of a farmer, you probably think of a white male. And it is true. However, they try to maintain that they are a very diverse company. They provide lots of opportunities for women and those of color or other ethnicities. And Monsanto has begun a community outreach efforts to provide women and minorities with this education surrounding agricultural farming. And basically what they want to do is they want to be able to reach out to different kinds of community and get other people involved with agriculture and farming and chemicals.
Yeah, when you approach actually Monsanto's website, they do a great job of this. Any tab that you click on or any introduction video that they have on the site, they do a lot of interactive things. And their employees, the customers that they cater to, because they are an international company, They are people of color, they are different ethnicities. You can definitely tell their heavy accents when they speak in the videos. And then there are also women. A lot of the chairmen in all of these positions are women, which when you think of, like Andy touched on, a chemical-based company, you typically think of white males, let's be honest. But with Monsanto, they're definitely breaking that stigma. And the same goes with disabilities too. They have blind and hearing impaired people in their company as well.
We gotta wrap up a little bit, we only have about a minute left. Their culture and their public relations are all very similar. They try to maintain that diverse and multicultural sort of interaction and that sort of value in their company. Their website, which we did a really deep analysis of, gives us users incredible resources and tools to learn about Monsanto, their products, maybe getting involved in agricultural aspects as a whole. Monsanto does feel a great responsibility, according to Kim Sutter, to protect this earth and the people on it, and to also provide those people with opportunities to get involved themselves. And we'd like to thank you for listening, and I think at this point our panel is over. I think we're going to open up for discussion.